everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I have the honorable pleasure to have Roz the Simmer here. He is the CEO of the Simmers magazine. So thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
No, hey, again, thank you so much for coming. I'm excited to get to talk to you. But before we go too far into this interview, I definitely want to hear about your Simmers, a little bit about yourself and your Simmers history.
Well, I'm a web graphic designer, and I'm a photographer in real life. So that definitely adds a little fun to my simming and taking pictures and making Sims content. As far as simming, I've been simming since Sims 1 in 2000. So I've been simming for a long time since Sims 1. I think out of the four, Sims 2 would be my favorite because I was the first one that introduced cars to the game. I wish they had cars on the Sims 4, but we don't. Well, we do, but we don't. But yeah, I pretty much enjoy simming. Simming is like my little escape from my reality. We all have jobs and things to do day to day, and simming it's just relaxing to sit there and play the Sims, build, or sim with my simmers.
I absolutely agree with you, Roz. Like, I get it. So, like, I've been playing The Sims since 2003. I got to tell you something that's going to make you feel old. So this past week, I've been doing a look back into the original The Sims because people refer to it as The Sims 1. I'm like, nah, that's The Sims.
That's The Sims.
That's The Sims. There was no Sims 1. There was The Sims. So I posted a photo on Friday about the pack living. I think it's Living Life, where it brought in all of like the genie lamp and the robbers and all the stuff. And I posted a picture of the cover.
Okay.
And like of but the box looked like the artwork on the expansion pack. And so many people have messaged me saying I wasn't even alive. Now, I don't know about you, but that makes me feel old. I'm sitting here, I'm like, what? What the fuck? That's why I bought The Sims, was for like the GD lamps and like not for the robbers, but that was just like a fun part. I think I missed that aspect of The Sims, of just that like a little bit of chaos. Like I find like The Sims 4, there's really no chaos. I mean, I don't really do a lot of gameplay, but it's funny because I was playing. I know like you're on Instagram and I'm sure you get like the Simmers bingos because there's so many of them and people send them to me all the time. And one of the bingos was your Sim being abducted by aliens. And I was like, that has never happened to me. And oh God, okay, I've been playing Sims. Okay, let's do math, Grandma Stassi. I've almost been playing Sims for 20 years. That makes me feel so old. It will literally
same here.
I'm 19 year. It'll be 20 years next year. Oh my God. Now I am old. And now I'm very old. But so throughout the pandemic, I really got back into The Sims, and me and my best friend used to share my origins. Because she wanted to play The Sims, but like, I'm sorry, Sims is a very expensive game. We both couldn't afford to play it. So we shared mine and we used to buy packs with each other. And she would say, I'm playing Sims tonight, so you can play Sims tomorrow and stuff like that. So the first time she ever played a gameplay, her Sim was abducted by aliens. And I sat there and she called me and I was watching Riverdale because that's how cool I am about my life choices. And she calls me and she's like, Stas, my Sim was abducted by aliens. And I was a little drunk. I was like, no, they fucking weren't. She's like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. Make a new one, I guess. Like, she was literally sending them to work for their first day. And they were abducted by aliens. And I think that's traumatized her. I want to say that literally like traumatized her. And I sat here and I'm like, I've been playing this game for a long time. I've never been abducted by aliens. And now I'm petrified and I'm knocking on all the wood that that's going to happen one day, that my Sims will be abducted by aliens. And I don't know what the hell I would do. I don't know where the hell you go. I don't know anything, because the last time I think anything I could think about aliens was the Sims 2 Nintendo DS game where Bella Goth was abducted by aliens and the whole game is surrounded by trying to find her. Like, that was like the last time, like anytime aliens were brought up, I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm like, I don't want anything to happen. But does that make you feel old though? That you're like,
Yeah, it
right?
really does.
It's just that you're like, oh my God, how did we get here? But I think something I love about The Sims, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, how old you are, what you do for a professional setting or a job, that we can all sit here and play this game, and it brings this community together is like all over the world. Like exactly. most people that follow me are in the UK. And it's so weird to think about this. And like this podcast, like most of my listeners are in Australia, and I know nobody there. So it's not like I'm being like, hey, mom, listen to this podcast. I can get my one listen in from you. These are actual people listening in. And I love you guys. So thank you much for everyone for turning in like from Australia and listening to this. There's just something about that, which leads me to my first question.
Okay.
When the first time you see somebody reading an article that you wrote that wasn't a family or friend, or participating in something that you're doing that's not a family or friend, like how does it feel to you that like someone in the community is a fan of yours? Like, how do you feel?
It actually motivates me to keep going because, if you post things and you don't get likes, you don't get comments, or you don't get that kind of motivation in a form of somebody saying, hey, I love what you're doing, keep it up. It kind of discourages you. So, yeah, I highly appreciate each and every person that comments. I've had people that have inboxed me. I honestly didn't think this page would go as far as it is. But, yeah, that motivates me to keep going and inventing new things to stand out from other people.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it just motivates me to keep doing things and come up with new things that, you may not have not seen before in the community. So it motivates me and inspires me.
I like that. I think that's like the best thing about, the Sims community. We're all inspiring one another. Like now people are starting to reach out to me and are like, Stassi, like because of you, like I started playing The Sims, or I released my Sims story because of you for Throws Chronicles. You've inspired me to do those things. Like every single person, it humbles me so much, because that's literally why I came out here to do this, was Definitely. to inspire others. And I have somebody who was like, you know what, like I want to do an interview show like you do with The Sims. Like, would that be okay? And I was like, of course it's okay. We need more people out here highlighting Simmers, because something I find with this is I feel like EA really only talks about the really big Simmers like James Turner, Delphine, Kelsey and Pichike. But like that's just like a small selection of just like the really big Simmers that blew up. But there's so many Simmers out there that like deserve time in the sun, and I feel like they kind of get overlooked. That's why I started this, I guess I want to say show or podcast, YouTube series, where I can interview Simmers that I don't care if you have one follower or 1 million followers. At the end of the day, we are all people. No matter what I am, I'm Stassi for Sims. I'm Jen in real life. Like, and I think that's cool to get to know people. Like I've talked to lawyers on here that are like, oh yeah, I just play Sims on the side, but I'm a lawyer. I'm like, what? You are smart. Or I've talked to doctors. The most common one I'm actually coming into are people that are like, oh, I work in interior design, so I love playing The Sims. I've always have. It's actually what's inspired me to do that. And you're just like, oh my God, like, I guess that makes sense. And they're like, I'm like, well, I guess I'm a chef. I don't talk about it, but yeah, like it's fun to get to know people. Cause like at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm just a gamer and I build stuff. But like at the end of the day, like you are a person, and it's fun to get to know people like this and to build relationships that way.
Get to know people beyond the game.
Get to know people beyond the game. Exactly. Now, what highlights have you seen so far with the Simmers magazine?
I've seen a lot of creative builds. I recently did not know that there was an Instagram community. Actually, I made a my Rats of Simmer page last January, I believe.
Mhm.
And I had no idea there were so many people even on Instagram doing this. So, but I have seen a lot of creative builds. Like I'm on here on Instagram every day. I'm following Sims hashtags and I'm screenshotting. Oh, I gotta add this later. Or I gotta put this in Newcrest later. Or I gotta put this here later. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of creative builds that just made me want. That's why I started doing build of the day on Simmer Magazine, because I feel like people need to, see these and just because it inspires me to want to. I'm not a good builder, but it inspires me to want to get better and spend more time practicing to where I'll feel comfortable to actually put a build on the gallery and put it out there. But right now, I'm not at that point. But yeah, definitely these creative builds, rooms, lots, and recreational lots.
Oh, absolutely. There's some amazing builders out there. There's something to be said. And this is something you have to promise me that you're going to do.
Okay.
Whenever you do your first build and you're ready to put it on the gallery, put it up there. And then 2 or 3 years from now, after you keep building and you look back at your first build and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I built this. Like I would have done so many more things differently. You have to promise me, Raz, that you'll never delete it because it shows to where you started to where you are today. And it shows the progress, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Like I can sit here and this is what I tell people now. Because Rose Chronicles is getting new readers every day, which is just so amazing. And I think what I like about Instagram is I get to sit and I get to talk to the readers. That doesn't usually happen. Like even like with a Wattpad or any type of like online storytelling, you just like, you read it, you're good to go. But like every single new person that follows me, I will sit and strike up a conversation with them. And I want to know like, thank you for following. This is literally what I say. Thank you so much for following this page. I'm very excited for you to read the story. Please note that the first 10 chapters are a little rough. I didn't know what I was doing a year ago. Now I do. Get past the first 10 chapters. You'll love it. And they're always like, oh, like whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Like you were learning and like they'll get to like the chapter 30 and chapter 40 and they're like, oh my God, it's so good. And I'm like, because you have to learn. Like I used to say it used to take me 10 hours to do one chapter and it did. And people are like, come on, Stas, like you're full of shit. Like there's no way you have 10 photos here. But this is before I had poses. This was before I knew cheats, before I did anything. I'd have to physically make them eat and sleep so I could use my Sims for the rest of the day. Now I literally have poses for facial features and for facial expression. So I have a whole dedicated. So say if like I'm doing an angry scene, I can literally set up my 4 Sims like a set. And I'll be like angry pose 1, 7, 8, and 3. And once that's done, I close it off, take the next, like close that action. And then the next facial structure will go through. That saves me so much time. And that's where it gets at. You learn these tips and tricks along the way, which leads me to my next question. What tips and tricks have you learned so far from the Simmers Instagram community that you will use when you play?
Definitely poses and looking at some of these pictures, I definitely learned that there is a room for improvement for me as far as my pictures go. I mean, I am a photographer in real life, but the Sims, taking pictures in the Sims, there's an art to it. So definitely seeing other people's pictures and, posting people's as Sim of the day and looking at their creativity in their pictures of their Sims. There's room for expansion or improvement as far as that goes.
Absolutely. Are you using reshades?
Nope, I've never heard of it. Actually, what is that for?
Yeah. So what you're seeing on Instagram are people using reshades. So what a reshade is, so when they take a photo in Instagram, you can change the shades of the lighting in the actual program. So so like a lot of these are reshades. And to be honest with you, I didn't know what a reshade was until my first ever YouTube video when people were telling me in the comments that I needed to have reshades. And what I can share it with you after.
Okay.
But like what it is, you put it into your game, you download these preset ones and say like, I use vibrance. So what that
Okay.
does is it lightens up the hue and it kind of makes everything just a little bit more brighter, which is
Okay.
really good for storytelling. But there are ones like Kaleidoscope and Dove that will give you those like Instagram photo qualities because it's just in the game. Because like
Okay.
the first little bit of this, I didn't know. I'm like, how come everybody in this community is a fucking graphic designer? I don't understand. I don't understand how this is happening. And then I reached out to, I want to say the Weekend Builder. And I said, hey, I got to ask you a question. And she's like, sure. And I'm like, how do you get your photos to look like this? I don't understand. What am I missing? Like, how can your Sims house look this amazing on Instagram, but if I go to your gallery, it just looks like a normal build? And she's like, oh, I use reshades. And I'm like, the fuck's a reshade? And she's like, here, I'm sending you everything I have. This is the tutorial on how to do it. These are the best links. And she did. She sent me everything like minutes later. And I'm like, oh my God. And it really does. So as paying it forward, Raz, I will pass it to you after. And yeah, it really does make a difference when it comes to editing photos. And
Thank you. Appreciate
yeah,
that.
no, of course. Yeah, no, definitely reshades will become your best friend. No, I mean, good tips and tricks like that, right? And it's like getting to talk to people and knowing like what they use. A lot of people will ask me, because I do a lot of voice acting, like, what mic do I use? Are these cat headphones actually worth it? Or am I just a basic bitch that wanted them? The question is yes, I'm a basic bitch that just wanted these, but they do have good quality. Like I got a new mic. I got a Yeti mic because I talked to a voice actor and it was like, that's like the best one for me. I've been using it for 10 years. You'll love it. I've had this for 2 days now. I've done 7 of these interviews. Fucking sound quality has never been as good. So like it goes to show to ask for this help, which leads me to my next question is, when you release your Sims magazine, are you going to have a category for like an ask me anything where Simmers can ask these questions and then you could answer their questions?
Yes, I'm always open to new things that'll help the page grow and help, other people in the community grow as well. I mean, that's the whole reason for featuring people on this page, is to help others grow as we grow. But I definitely will have something like that where people can ask questions and we'll feature the answer in the next magazine.
I like that. You should have it like a fun one, like ask the llama or something like that, or ask Bella, just being like, and have somebody sit there and be like, use this or do this. Now I got to ask you this, and I'm not a journalist or anything, but there are a lot of Simmers magazines out there. I used to work for the SimStep magazine. I know how hard it is to put a magazine together. What will make your magazine stand out from the rest of your competitors?
Well, to backtrack a little bit, before I even joined the Sims community, I was playing Grand Theft Auto, and I have a Grand Theft Auto page, which is kind of a magazine, but it's kind of similar to what I do on the Simmer Mag. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing that for probably around 2 years. So once I discovered these different Sim pages, I was like, okay, why don't I take what I do on GTA? And, that's where the Simmer magazine was birthed from. So to answer your question, I have tons of ideas already flowing into my GTA page. Mm-hmm. So 2 I've already introduced as the Sim of the Day and the Builder of the Day, because on GTA, I do Gentleman of the Week, Beauty of the Week, and then I do Content Creator of the Week. So I will be introducing that into the Simmer Mag. I honestly haven't seen too many other magazines. That's also what motivated me to start a page. But I think I came across 2 when I was searching for them on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, but definitely the fact that I'm open to anything. I'm open to, new things, anything that will bring more engagement to this page and help other people grow. I think that will definitely take me a step higher.
Yeah, I totally, hey, I agree with you. I know there's the Simmers Digest. They have a podcast, and they have the Sims Nations magazine, and then the SimStep has their own as well. And I think they have a podcast now. I'm not 100% sure. I currently don't work there. And I think that, T the Simmer is having her own magazine as well. And I'm pretty sure there's a 4th one. I'm pretty confident in that one. But I was just always wondering, I was always curious. I was gonna say, like, what makes like it I'm not a magazine person. I mean graphic designer, but I was always curious to be like, what makes somebody want to do this? And it's to share, which I do appreciate. Now, if I could give you any piece of advice, I think there's a part of the community that's super always lacking in representation, and that is machinima creators. I feel like builders get a lot of love and cast gets a lot of love, but storytellers and machinima creators are always kind of, to me, always kind of felt like on the back burner. Yeah. So like, would you have like story of the week? Because there are so many sim stories.
Yeah, I definitely do that too.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. But like, have you watched any machinimas? Do you like, have you seen, like, do you have any favorite ones?
No, I actually have not watched any before.
They are wild. So I do voice acting for machinimas. And oh my God, like I'm part of Davenport. I'm also the lead actress in The Reaper. And machinimas are crazy because like you have these amazing and talented Sims creators that are creating these movies and TV shows like in The Sims. That's why I fucking love The Sims. No matter what you're doing, you can make homes, you can build casts, you can do a comic book, which is what I'm doing, or you can make these like feature length films in The Sims that you can basically just do whatever you want with them. Like, I think that's something that's really cool in this community. And I'm excited to like now to know that like that's something that you're going to feature as well.
Definitely. Yep. I've actually done that sort of thing on my GTA and things. I've had video. I actually host contests on GTA as well. So I plan on doing contests. I'm not sure if there's anybody doing that on the Sims community where you actually put out a contest for, best sim dress formal or something like that. Everybody sends in their photos and then I post it in the story and, the people actually vote whether that person should move on to the next round. And then in the semi round, it's kind of like a head to head thing.
Yeah. So there's a face off challenge. I haven't seen this season in a while, but like, so they're like specifically for casts and they'll have like these challenges like every week. So they'll pick like the top 20 like people and they'll say, okay, so like this week's theme is Harry Potter. So you have to make your sim like in Harry Potter. And what these casts is, it's not just normal casts. Like these are like drawing casts because there's different levels of when it comes to photo editing. So like there's that. There's a builders competition run by Juby Sims right now. Amazing. I'm a judge on that. And there's a bunch of shell challenges as well. I've never participated in a shell challenge because I'm not that good at building, but like, oh yeah, like there's tons of competitions. Would you highlight any of these competitions in this magazine?
Oh, definitely. In my opinion, I mean, there's pretty much room for everybody to shine. I mean, I'll showcase other magazines as well. I'm not that type of person to where I'm closed off or you're doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm not going to, I'm not that kind of guy. I like, it's growth and plenty of people out here for everybody. So yeah, I'll highlight other magazines, other contests, other people that post builds and Sim of the Day. I'll post those too.
And that's awesome. I mean, we need more types of publication lifting each other up and sharing each other's work. Now, I have to ask, when starting this, I see you have now added 2 members to the team. Who are they and what do they bring to the Simmers magazine team?
Well, the first one I met was Lay Simmer. When I first made this page, she was like the most hyper supportive person. She commented on every post. She shared everything. It's like, hey guys, go check this out. So when I started the page, I was like, okay, I definitely need other people because like there are times where I'll be working on the weekends and I want somebody to be able to reply to comments and keep the Sim of the Day and Build of the Day stuff going. So she was the first person I reached out to, and she was so excited to join the team. And she is an expert builder. I've downloaded some of her stuff and I have it on my Sims game. But she's also serving as like my second in command. Just from getting to know her in this short period of time, I've learned to to trust her. And she's given me a lot of advice. She's even given me tips for for my page, and we actually have a shell challenge going on right now for when we hit 200 followers. And I was just telling them yesterday that we're gonna have to do something else in a minute because we're at 285 in less than a week. So, but yeah, Lay is real. She has a lot of knowledge when it comes to the Sims community. Like I said, I'm new to the Sims community. I did create a page like 2 years ago, but I let it lay dormant for a year. But when I start, coming across other people, I start, okay, I need to get back into this and, put more into it. But she's definitely, been teaching me stuff left and right. So she's pretty much like, I'm president. She's pretty much vice president or CEO, if you will. And then the other person was Samantha. She reached out to me on the page. She was like, hey, I love what you guys are doing. If you guys need any help, I'd be happy to contribute. And, I took a look at her page and I saw the creativity. And for a person, she says she's new to Instagram recently. For a person to be new to Instagram, she had a lot of creativity and uniqueness on her page. So I said, I definitely got to have her on the team. I loved her energy just from talking to her. And she has, people, other Simmers that she's connected with. So she became the PR manager, like public relations. So anything I post, she shouts it out. She's invited. I started a Sims magazine group on Facebook. I hovered at 10 members for weeks. As soon as I added her, the group is now up to almost 60 people. So she's good at talking to people and networking and that sort of thing.
And that's good. I saw that. So I was like, like 55. I was like, oh, wow. Like that's gone up quick. And that's the thing with like Simstagram, like there are so many of us, like there's so many. And like, all we want to do is have our work shown, which is like what we want, right? We want to have our minute in the sun and basically being like, come do this. And this is something like I noticed. So like I work in social media marketing, like that's my full-time job. Okay. So I have a really good grasp on, social media. And I really like what you guys do with posting every day. That's extremely important, especially to stay relevant and to stay in everybody's feed. And I like that from what I can gather, you don't specifically be like, well, I'm only going to show these big simmers because they're going to get me more likes because people recognize them. You kind of showcase everybody. And I think that's also very important as well. So everybody, no matter, because like the first time you get shouted out, even if if you got like 100 followers, that's like the biggest deal because you're like, oh my God, like people are noticing me. And I think it's just it just feels nice to be noticed once in a while, if you know what I mean.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple more questions for you and then I'm going to get you to go to your merry way because as we were saying, my mom's going to stop by for dinner. I did not expect that, good old moms like to surprise their daughters on I guess it's a rainy Sunday. This is another Sims question. Like, how's the weather been there? Like, because our weather has just been like this for the last week. Like, it's just been insane. Did you get the big windstorm last week?
It wasn't too bad, but we did have nice weather after the first day of spring, and then like day 3, we had snow.
So, yeah. Oh my God. Oh, okay. So the first day of spring. So here it was nice. And then we had a snowstorm the next day and then it was gone. And then it was 20 degrees.
Yep. Same here.
And then it was -10 the next day. And I'm just sitting here because on Thursday, somewhere close to us was having a tornado and we got the after effect wind of it somewhere in the States. Like we had a giant windstorm. We had like 150 kilometer winds. Like it was bad. And it's the strongest winds I've ever at least seen in my existence where like everything was flying. Like literally everything was flying. The best thing was I was at work and the floppy, car dealerships and you have like the and Family Guy made fun of them, like the giant, like floppy guys and they like stand up here to grab your, he was caught in the fence. He was caught and he was somewhat like dabbing, but he was like floating off the fence. And I had to say that was like the highlight of my week seeing that. Cause I'm like, I got you, man. I know exactly how you feel literally just being stuck there floating in the wind. But I was going to say weather's crazy. Like I'm looking out right now. We had whiteouts this morning. Like you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, but now it's sunny as all can be. And now, but I can see giant clouds coming in because we have a thunderstorm warning in effect because it's too warm now because tomorrow is going to be like 15 degrees.
Yeah, we haven't had sun here in a few days. It's just been cloudy every day for like the past 3 or 4 days here.
Right. I want some sun. You know what I mean? I just want some sun.
Definitely.
Anyways, so you're new to the Sims community. Welcome. What advice could you give to anybody wanting to, start like their own like magazine and showcase other simmers? Like, what advice could you give to them?
Well, first thing would be just regardless of what interaction or whatever, how many likes you get at first, just to keep going. Like I said, there's more than enough room for everybody to be in the spotlight and grow and shine. So definitely don't be discouraged by low likes or low comments at first, but it's always good to maintain the same energy when you start and continue going. Even when you start to get likes and attention and comments, it's still good to maintain that same energy and mentality you had when you started. Because some people, they'll get to their egos will grow once they start getting all this attention, and they'll forget the main reason that they started in the beginning. So it's nice when you meet people that are still nice and humble at 1,200,000 followers that have the same mentality they did when they had 100 followers. So definitely keep that same humbleness, inspiration, and motivated. Just, stay, what's the word I'm looking for? Stay focused.
No, hey, I totally agree with you. Because I've just about like almost at 4,400 followers, and I'll have way more than that by the time this comes out, because it's coming out the first week of July. Oh. And it's so weird to say that like out loud, that like you have so many followers for like doing this. And I love all my followers very, very much. And I appreciate them. But like, yeah, you can never forget your roots. At the end of the day, I'm just a girl that liked to build. And that's all it is. Right. And I know what it's like. I had one interaction with a simmer, and I've only ever had maybe one or two negative interactions with simmers. But this one stuck with me a lot. So I'm sure you see on Instagram that there are so many collabs, like so many, and they're all amazing. So I always wanted to be part of one. So this was when I first started doing Rose Chronicles, and I was doing more storytelling. So since switching up my builds, and I asked this bigger simmer, I said, hey, like, can I join your collab? And she said to me, no, because you don't build enough. And it really struck me. And I was like, I did 150 builds in 100 days. Like, that was my thing. Like, if you go to my origins, like almost 8,000 people have downloaded my builds. Like, I'm not saying I'm the God's gift to building, but like I've done a lot. Like I know what I'm doing. And that just always resonated with me. And then you know what I said? I was like, fuck it. I'm going to host my own collab. And then I did. I've hosted 2 now. And it's just, there's just something about that. It just never sat with me. Right. I'm like, I went out of my way at that point to just always make sure that whoever I talk to, no matter if they're big or small, that we're still people. And exactly. And like that one conversation that to her could have been a throwaway, like, oh, who's this annoying Stassi person? She's not like fucking 100 followers. No one cares. Now that I'm a little bit bigger, like that still sits, that like because I hosted collabs and people would ask me, they're like, yeah, like, can I do cast in my collab? I was like, you can do whatever you want as long as it fits the criteria, which is whatever the theme is, and you post it on the day it comes out. If you want to do a Sailor Moon that looks like they're from outer space, fucking go nuts. You want to do a Harry Potter build where like you create new houses and stuff, fucking go nuts. As long as you release it on the day I tell you to, go nuts. Like basically, like it's kind of stuff like that, right? But I'm part of a couple bigger collabs now. And it's so cool to interact with people, because like I talk to lots of simmers like every day. I talk to simmers more than I talk to my actual friends and family, because I know so many of them and we talk about lots of like random stuff. And it's cool to hear other people's perspectives.
Mm.
of The Sims. Or like, I will literally be like, oh my God, new pack coming out to my like best Sims friends. I'm like, oh my God, thoughts and stuff like that. And like, these are friendships that I've built that like I'm going to continue to have. Like some people are like, if you're ever in my city, like come and I'll make you dinner. And because I always say the same thing. I'm like, if you're ever in Kitchener, come to my house, I'll make you dinner. Right. It's just that's something no matter where we are in the world, we can still be friends. And it's just cool. If it like,
Yep,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Anyways, Roz, I want to say it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much for coming. Why don't you tell everybody where we can find everything for the magazine?
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram if you search The Simmer Mag. I also have a TikTok created, but there's nothing on there yet, but we're going to get there soon. Maybe I'll add another team member to help manage the TikTok. But yeah, we're all across the board, The Simmer Mag, and then the group on Facebook, you can type in The Simmer or The Simmer Magazine, and it'll come up.
Fantastic, Roz. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Please go check out the magazine if you haven't already. There's lots of, again, highlighting Builder of the Day and Cast of the Day, which is very important to shine a light on everybody in this community. And like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to sit down and talk to you today and learning a little bit more about your Simmers history and your goals for the magazine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, you're welcome. Have a great rest of your day. Okay.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.